Hi guys, this is Kayla.
And this is Becky, and we're with A Couple of These Read.
Yes, and we also enjoy our weekly wine. What is the wine this week, Becky?
My favorite, Dove Hunt Dog Pinot Noir. And we have definitely reviewed this a few times. It was just what I had chilled in the refrigerator today. And we know today is a little different. You had to come wake me up.
I did.
I took a nap. Definitely one of my favorites. Love it.
Is there black cherry
Yep.
in this? Okay.
Red cherry, black cherry.
This is the very, very cherry strong and the pepper, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so. And pairs well with, you know, most people think, okay, you pair red wine with red meat, not with seafood. Normally that's for white wine. But this pairs real well with things like grilled salmon, scallops, things like that.
I was going to say really flavorful fish, like scallops that have been done up in butter, really good wine sauce, like that had been well seasoned. They'd be really good with salmon especially. And
really portobello mushrooms, the stuffed mushroom, which is one of my favorite things. Love it. So that would be great with this. And again, remember, all Scout and Cellar wines are clean crafted. That means they use no pesticides whatsoever. They don't add sugars, coloring, any kind of flavor. When you get the wine, you get the authentic taste of the grape.
Or the cherry in this case.
All right.
And it's such a beautiful red color.
I love it.
That pairs so well with a horror novel that I just lost. There we go. So I read or listened to House of Shadows by Darcy Coates. I'm on a really big like haunted house novel kick. And I'd read kind of the ones recommended to me, and then someone said, if you like haunted house stories, you need to read Darcy Coates, because like the majority of her novels, and she is a horror writer, are haunted house novels. And they're just, every one of them have been really clever. House of Shadows so far I think is my favorite because it's also got a little bit of gothic romance in there. So it is set back in the day. It is not a modern haunted house story like the Caro Haunt, which I'm going to review at some point because it was also really good. But it is set back in the day when, you know, women were still married off to get the family fortune. And young, beautiful, like blonde-haired Sophie meets Mr. Argenton outside an opera house in the city. And he's immediately enamored with her, but he's the kind of guy that he doesn't show his emotions. So she doesn't know this. Sophie's our protagonist. We're getting the whole story from her point of view. So we're also kind of like, what is up with this guy? And he shows up at her house one day, and he said, I'm here to talk to your father. And then he sits and talks to her, which is kind of like, it's on that level, like he's rich enough to get away with not having the highest class manners. But this is like a time and place where like, that's a little fishy, buddy. But they talk awkwardly for a few minutes. Then her father comes in and he's had a terrible day. And it turns out that he's basically lost all his money on a deal on silk. And Sophie, like, they are no longer going to be high-class citizens. Everything looks bleak. Her brother's not going to be able to go to school to become a lawyer. She's got 2 younger siblings, so that's why this is relevant. They have no way to seek their fortune. Well, Mr. Argenton uses the opportunity to ask for her hand in marriage.
It seems kind of fishy.
Yeah, a little bit. And there is kind of a bit of there's a thing with that. There's a snafu. But so she agrees to this marriage. And just to clarify, Mr. Argenton is a very handsome man. He's just very cold. So think Mr. Darcy, but also weird and mysterious. So they head back to his house, which is it is this big, beautiful, glorious mansion in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, in the middle of the woods.
Of course.
Woods that nobody, like the nearest town, people will not go to. Like, they won't even go into the woods. They don't go near this house. Like, there's a lot to do with this Argenton home. And it is the Argenton family home. The Argenton family is one of the wealthiest in the world. And they all have to live in this house. So she gets out there, finally gets to the house. He's there with his aunt, his uncle, and his niece, who's like 14 and actually closer in age to Sophie than Mr. Argenton himself, because it's that time, period. Yeah. And so she's hoping she can find a friend in Elise, but Elise is creepy. The whole house is creepy.
Sounds like a creepy situation.
The aunt is especially creepy. Like, she's immediately sort of put out by Sophie, but we don't really know why until later in the book. She's like, Sophie thinks maybe she's just jealous, or because she's been the head of the house and now I'm here, so I'm supposed to be the woman of the house and take things over. But it's like very obvious the servants are scared of her. The maid that she's given is mute. She can't speak. And so she's just like, there's clearly secrets in this house. The servants have been told not to talk to me. They're terrified of this aunt, and the aunt also burns all her clothes, all of Sophie's clothes, and gives her a whole new wardrobe her first night there. So, like, it also tells her, don't get too close to my nephew. Like, it's weird. It's such a freak show.
My husband.
Exactly. It is such a freak show. And, added to the fact that on their wedding night, he didn't touch her. And he still hasn't touched her, like, till way later in the book. So it's very, very strange. The house, she hears whispers. She hears a piano playing at night. She sees shadows. And she's been told, don't go into the woods. And she'll see things moving in the shadows of the trees that don't quite look like a human or an animal. So, super creepy setup. The good news is Mr. Argenton and her do, despite all of this craziness, kind of start to fall for each other.
Okay.
But then the twist happens, and you find out why everything is creepy and why everything is scary, and there's a big family curse, and it's wild. I was not expecting it to go where it went, and I think because, with Gothic romance, typically with a Gothic romance like Rebecca or whatever, you expect it to go to maybe there was a ghost, maybe there wasn't. No, this is like full on supernatural, who do whatsies happening in these woods and at this house, and it is wild.
Wow.
And that is House of Shadows by Darcy Coates. Easy 5-star read. I really enjoy her ability to just, keep everything so atmospheric and creepy, but at the same time, by the end of it, I was 100% rooting for Sophie and Mr. Argenton. Like, I really loved these characters and was ready for them to get their deserved true love moment. So, cool. Very well done. If you like dark romance, dark by, haunted, scary.
Right.
If you like gothic suspense, but you also don't mind there being a full-on ghosty paranormal activity going down, this is the book for you. Right. House of Shadows by Darcy Coates. If you've never read her before, this is probably the one I would recommend that will get you hooked and make you want to read all of them, because now I'm reading all of them.
Cool.
But yeah, that's 5 stars for me. Tell us what you're reading in the comments. Bye, guys.
Bye.